right, realized that I haven't shown you what I'm doing for the roof sheathing. So up here, we gotta cut custom sheathing pieces for the roof. And so what we do is we get our chop saw cut up at the right angle, set up at the right angle, so it's 3 degrees, and then a secondary angle over here is about 2.7 degrees, somewhere there about that. And so what you do is you start out with the bottom one, cut this side, and then you come and you mark it up here. See if I can do this while I'm holding the camera. Not very well. Let's see if we can do that. Okay. And then once you cut that, see if we can trapezoid. And so the next step is you keep that piece. You take this, because this angle was just cut. It's got a compound angle on it. You flip the board, so the long end is towards the saw. And you take the short end of your trapezoid, because this short end is going to line up with the long end of the next piece in the line. Once you get it all lined up here, so you can see that angle. And so then you come over here to the small side again and mark the very edge. Put that aside. Line it up to cut again. Oops, sorry, pencil in my mouth. You line it up to cut again. So when you line them up together, let's see. Not exact, but we cut one side once we're up there anyways. And then if you look, you'll see, since it's a compound angle, that angle and that angle will line up next to each other when they're on the roof. So if I can do this here, it makes a cone. So when you line that up and then line that up, you can see that you got a cone, and each one of those is a cone. And so you've got all these stacks. You go from the very bottom to the very top, and each stack represents one ray. So you can see we got a lot cut. We're almost done. And then you put them up, and when they go up, they look like that. And that's the roof sheathing. We're almost done. See, we only have this last little section right there. And the reason there's some, you can see some light through the cracks is these were put up pretty green, and that's on the south side, so they've had a couple weeks now to dry, and it's just, they've shrunk a little bit. That's how it goes when you use your own lumber that you milled and didn't get a chance to dry fully. So anyways, that's how we're getting the roof sheathing. Just gonna finish up this last ray, and then we'll be putting them up. So we got it all up and cut, and this is what it looks like from the top. Now that the roof sheathing is on, I'm starting to build the cupola. You can see that on the top. I didn't get any video of that because, well, I didn't. I apologize. But so that's the walls, and then on this one, you can kind of start to see the rafters going up, and just need to sheathe that, and then we will start working on the roofing and trim, which is going to be a real bear. All right, here's the side trim. We got a 2-layer trim, one that's 10 inches and one that's 5 inches. The next step is the drip edge and Grace Ice and Water Shield. All right, good morning, everybody. We're up on the roof now. I wanted to walk you through some of the things we did. As you can see, here's some staging that I have set up, and you can see my ladder's at max extension, so we're pretty high up here. So what we did, we just took some of the scrap 2x6s that we had and built little brackets, and then screwed them to the studs and put them all the way around the building. And so now we have a nice safe place to store shingles and walk around and get your starter pieces set. So the next thing I wanted to show and talk to you about is this tool that we built. Since this cone as a roof has a lot of these. From here all the way up is a seam, and it's going to act like a ridge line. And so what that means is it means every single shingle has to get cut. So we built a shingle cutter. So it's got a nice straight edge here, which is exactly perpendicular to this line. And then we've got graduation marks at every inch. And then every 5 degrees, we've got a angular measurement, all spanning off of the pivot point here. And so what we can do is, you can see you've got some starter shingles here. And so what you do is you get it up on here. You can see that's nice and square. And so it acts like one of those paper cutters that you used to have in school. All I did was took a spare scrap piece of angle iron and just sharpened this edge so that it's fairly sharp. I mean, it's not a razor blade or anything, but this is asphalt shingles we're dealing with. So what you do is you line it up, and for these, we know that the angle of each ridge to mate up to each other is about 4 degrees, roughly, for shingling. That's close enough. So you can see the 5 degree mark, and I'm just going a little bit above the 5 degree mark. So I'm somewhere around 4 degrees. And let's see if I can do this while I'm holding the camera. And then you just take the handle here and just like that, that's cut. And now we've got our angle so that when we put it down on the roof here, that lines up with that ridge. And so we do that on both sides. And when you do that, I think I've got one already cut. I can show you what it looks like. Obviously, I'd have to cut this one again, but for a matter of show and tell here, you got the 2 angles meeting up together, and it's a nice straight. And then we can just hammer these down, nail these down, and move on. And we're just starting now, so I got a bunch of starters to cut, and then we'll use this same tool and cut all of the actual architectural shingles. So it's a beautiful sunny fall day here. It's probably 60 degrees up here. It's perfect for roofing, sunny, soft, but not boiling hot. So here we go. Wanted to show you guys, now that we're shingling, see we've got some up, we're done with the starters. Wanted to show you the system that we've got here. So you can see we've got the shear, homemade shear that we have, and the pivot point. We know the angle is about 4 degrees, so you see the 5 degree line. And we're gonna go just a little bit above that, so it's around 4. And we wanna be cutting off around 6 inches or so on the outside at that angle. And then we cut that. It's hard with one hand, but it's all right. So once we've got that side, now the way we're weaving it, we have to cut some off of the other side. So you see this line up here, that's what we line the top of, or the edge of the shingle up to. And then you can see here, we're gonna be cutting some of the bottom of the tab off. Let's see if I can do this. So now that that's cut, now we've got a shingle that looks, sorry about the shadow, it's got some of this cut off and then an angle on that side cut off. And so what that does is when you come over here, you can kind of see this shingle here. I'll lay this up against it so you can see this edge lines up with the seam. It's kind of hard to tell on the camera, but this goes with one of those small hips, and then this side gets cut, and that is going to get overlapped when we come in and we put the next one here. So that's the piece that we cut, and then when we overlap it here, so that seam is now running along that. We have a complete overlap, and since they're architectural shingles, the little bit of step that you see will disappear and you won't see it once you get a few rows up. And so that's what we're doing. A lot of cutting, but we're making progress. And here it is, finally finished. Just finished late, sun's down, and that's all there is to it.